What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to episode number 44 of the Ambitious Vet Show with retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, best-selling author, and founder of My Silver Boots LLC, Mark Green. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Guys, we're here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made, but are now passion-driven. Now, guys, as they share their stories, their journeys, and just what it took to get out there and make it happen out of the uniform, we just hope that this unlocks your golden grenades, your aha moments, to get out there and start living that top-performing, fulfilling, and meaningful life out of the uniform. So before we go ahead and dive into today's interview, Ambitious Vet, I just want to first and foremost thank you for joining episode number 44 of the Ambitious Vet. And thank you for being a loyal listener. And if you haven't already, go over to the Ambitious Vet Facebook group where we have over 545 ambitious vets in the trenches with one end goal in mind: is that how do we work collaborative towards each other's missions and empower each other? Because guys, if there's one thing that I think I could speak for all of us, or some of you guys are listening to this are still learning, is that long-term relationship building always brings long-term big ROI. It's the baby steps every single day, the daily adding of value to relationships that has your value go up and your skill set and your potential be incubated. So guys, if you're not over there already, definitely go over there. We're proud to announce that this podcast is starting to really peak and start catching some momentum, guys. And it all goes to show that feedback ultimately wins long term. Your guys' feedback and letting us know more of what you guys want to hear is definitely what has had this podcast now expand over to 10 different countries. I mean, we're in USA, Japan, so we're hitting those Okie vets over there, Bahrain, Canada, Hungary, Israel. We're in Norway, Panama. This podcast is really starting to take off, guys, and it's because of you saying what you want, but also adding value into the relationships that matter most to you. So we're definitely humbled to have that feedback and see the podcast growing as fast as it is, guys. And with that being said, I want to offer a great opportunity for anybody in here that's wanting to actually start getting more exposure, brand awareness, or just brand engagement, is we're offering a sponsorship offer for the Passion Driven Tip every single week, our weekly Ambitious Vet live show, and this podcast. Total, we reach around 15 countries total, and we reach well over 10,000 people with all three of those offerings on social media and on here. But guys, if you're just slightly interested in gaining access to a veteran audience that values integrity, relationship building, and really just self-improvement and paying to play to become more, we encourage you to email me directly, which my email will be in the show notes below, and I can go ahead and send you guys more details, and we'll see if we're the right fit as far as moving forward, guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into why you're here, and that's getting golden grenades from Mark Green. So today's guest is going to be Mark Green. Mark is an author, speaker, and entrepreneur after completing a total of 34 years of service to the U.S. Army, and he retired as a lieutenant colonel. His education includes a law degree from William Taft University, Santa Ana, California, and a master's degree in organizational management from Concordia University, St. Paul. Now, he dedicates his time after active duty to helping fellow veterans and their families obtain remarkable resilience and experience triumphant transitions. He's a published author of 2 books along with co-author Echo Montgomery Garrett. One is Step Out, Step Up, Lessons Learned from a Lifetime of Transitions in Military Service. And the second one is Warriors Code 001-7 Steps to Vital Resilience. He developed based on his experience. He has 4 wonderful children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Mark resides in Florida with son Adam and wife Denise. Ambitious Vet, I met this man a year ago almost now in the last military infantry conference in Orlando, Florida. And I got to say, he sat in our booth that we had set up there for quite a few minutes. And out of that conversation, I got one, he's a Missouri boy, simple country boy off simple principles, which you guys are going to pick up on here. But he really has a keen eye on listening And he really dives into the power of developing not only your listening, but developing yourself and as a better version of yourself. Now, guys, if a lieutenant colonel can retire out of the Army and still say he needs to grow, I think we all can take the humble pill and do the same. So, guys, without further ado, I'm going to shut up. Let's go ahead and dive into the trenches with Lieutenant Colonel retired Mark Green. Let's go get it. Mark, are you there, my friend?
I am.
Welcome to the Ambitious Vet, brother.
Thanks, man. It's good to be out here within the tribe a little bit and kind of rubbing shoulders with other veterans, because I really think that it's always that instant connection that we have, no matter what service you're from or where you served or how long you served. There's always that camaraderie immediately when you talk to the other veterans, and that's the thing I love. So,
oh man, hence your podcast, Veteran Connections, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I love that. Thanks for setting that context for us. So I want you to go ahead and fill the gaps inside that introduction. Let us know a little about who you are outside of that, man.
Okay. So for some that don't know me, I'm a Missouri guy, just like Chris. We grew up in pretty humble beginnings over there in the Midwest. There wasn't a lot going on. It was very quiet, but yet we usually stirred it up pretty good as kids. And, very humble beginnings for me. Grew up in a little log cabin out in the country till I was about 8. And then kind of the wheels fell off with the divorces and the dysfunction, and everything just kind of, things started happening, and they weren't all good. And so, as a lot of people do have a story, when that dysfunction in relationships and no direction kind of come into to play, things change, and you start feeling like you're not where you want to be in life. And I had left the state of Missouri and actually joined a Gypsy caravan and actually worked for Gypsies on the road for like a year and a half, living in a little 8x10 shed by the railroad tracks.
Wow. Talk about nomadic life. That sounds
and then fell in love with this girl, and then she said, okay, it's the Gypsies or me, So yeah. I made a decision, it was her, and then started working in a local town there for a little bit, and it was a no-end, dead-end jobs. And so finally I decided to join the Army and went back to Missouri, cleared my name, and joined the Army. And that was at 21. And I never left the service until 56. So I never had a break in service. I spent my whole career in either the National Guard, Army Reserve, or active duty. I spent 24 years in active duty.
Wow.
I did 2 tours as an inspector general. So I was dealing with soldiers' problems every day.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I did that for over 5 years. So I wasn't sure as I left, like a lot of people, what I was going to do. So I started thinking about, where was the point in my life where I had some traction, right? So when did things, that first pivot point where things were not so good, even before the Army, but then there was something planted, or there was this little thing that got planted in me. And what I went back and peeled it back to was that I had met a man that was a Taekwondo instructor for the college, and I was in 6th grade. And they weren't taking kids in the class. It was only an adult program through the college. And we bugged the guy for like months and months until he finally got them to approve us to come in with waivers to take the karate classes. And as I started going up the ranks, he told me one day, although there was that dysfunction going on all around me, that I could be a champion someday.
Wow.
So he planted that seed in me that I had something inside me that was better than, just being who I was at the time. And so, living in a mobile home with 5 brothers and sisters on welfare did not really bring you a lot of, woohoo moments. And so I realized that, well, I'm gonna believe him. So, I joined the Army, and then I ended up fighting on the Army's team as a Taekwondo fighter. Wow. And I got so good that I ended up fighting for 2 national championships as the first one of the first Army teams ever assembled at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Wow.
And so I fought
not
for
bad,
2 years.
Not bad for a simple country boy from Missouri, right?
It was just that guy, and I say mentors, that was that first pivot point in my life where a mentor came in and said, hey, you can be a champion. So I took it to heart, and that's what happened. And so as I transitioned, I learned that telling stories and solving problems is something I'm good at. So that's why I figured, well, I'll just write the book. I'll tell my story, and then I'll go out there and share my story to inspire others and to be of service to others by helping them find their greatness, by peeling back the onion and getting rid of limiting beliefs. And, I became a success principles coach with Jack Canfield because I realized I still had to work on myself. I wasn't where I needed to be yet. And I'm a student of life. I mean, I'm always learning. I'm never saying I've arrived. And that has helped me to keep the right attitude as I grow, because there's always somebody better. There's always somebody that knows something you don't. And I've taken that to heart. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that you just said that. This is a lieutenant colonel who served over 24 years on active duty, who got out and still got into a beginner's mind and invested in himself, ambitious vets. There's a lot of you guys inside this tribe, me included, for the first 2 years I got out of the uniform, that think you have it all figured out. And I want to encourage you guys to really give up knowing. It's when you give up knowing that you discover new things that you don't know, right? So I definitely encourage you guys to follow Lieutenant Colonel, best-selling author and national renowned speaker, Mark Green, on this one, because he's figured it out. So Mark, I want to kind of dive in. You kind of touch on it a little bit, but I mean, you said you discovered that you're really good at telling stories and solving problems. What had you come up with that? Because there's a lot of ambitious vets that are going to be listening to this on the podcast, or just watching this live right now, or will be watching this later on, and they're dealing with identifying their strengths. What had you identify that?
I think the biggest challenge that I think a lot of us as we transition out is that there's a gap in how to use our leadership that we've learned, the skills, and convert that into something that we've already achieved. And we're like, so there's like, okay, I have this skill set and I have this silo of knowledge and this things that I can do, but how do I convert that to something that's usable or of service to others?
Right.
And I thought, what could I do that would create a reality for me that's easy and authentic, and I can be myself? And I thought, you know what, if I tell my story, at first, I'll be honest, I thought that I was telling my story so I could have it. So I could give it to my family and I could set it on the shelf and it would be that story. But then I realized, somebody said, do you realize how powerful this is for others? And then it hit me. It's like, why am I focusing on myself? And it was an aha moment for me, because, I could look at me, look at my love me wall and look at what I've done and look at who I am. And I thought, you know what? I'm missing the boat. I was missing the boat. I was like, it's all about me. And, we always want to feel good about ourselves. We want to build ourselves up. And we know that if we've got achievement, we can market. People can see that we have achievement, but it's not about just achievement. And I really didn't have that biggest challenge, aha, real moment until I went to Jack Canfield's event, and some psychologist snaked me into getting into one of these rooms. And she said, hey, why are you having trouble hugging the people in the room? I'm like, because I got this bubble around me. I don't want to talk to nobody, And she goes, well, let's peel that back. And she kind of helped me get through some stuff and clear it out. And very smart lady, one of the top psychologists for Jack Canfield in the country.
Wow.
And then at the end, she goes, can I have a hug? Well, I don't normally hug people I don't know. And that was like, well, okay, well, I'll give you a handshake, but, and so she kind of helped me overcome that feeling that I couldn't be a part of something bigger. And that's really when that second pivot in my life happened. And I realized it's not just achievement. It's all about also what's the connection, what's in the heart. Are you using, because that's where the gap is. That's where that missing link is. Yeah. It's like Jack Canfield said it best. He said, you can have all the achievement in the world, but if you don't have heart in it, you got nothing. Yep. It's kind of like being a boxer. You got to have heart to stand up again after you get knocked down 7 times. Yeah. And so I really think that was a huge turning point for me. because somebody told me when I went to the Army Corporate Partners Program to become a coach. And I was like, I don't need coaching. I said, I don't need to do that. She goes, no, you don't understand. You need a credential. You need, if you're going to speak, if you're going to write books, you need to have a credential. And this was the senior producer, Good Morning America. She's the one that mentored me. Yeah. And she said, you need to have a coaching background. So I went through the training. I became a Success Principles coach. And now I'm taking that and I'm actually creating a 501c3 so I can get donations and take other veterans to that same event in Arizona this year in August.
Wow.
So it's the same thing that another veteran that I know is doing with Tony Robbins, but now we're doing with Jack Canfield, and he's got more of an intimate group. It's like 300. Tony Robbins' event was 14,500 people.
It's crazy.
You know, and so I realized that this is the direction I've been taken, and it's a calling. I was like, at first I'm like, I don't want to be a speaker. I don't want to be an author. I just want to retire. You know, I mean, I don't have to do this, right? I mean, I have a good retirement. I have a good income. I have a good disability. My wife is a nurse practitioner. I don't have to do this, but I realized that there was something calling me to do it. And so, you know, once I identified my purpose and I realized the power of my story to inspire others, I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now this is for them. And I now get to share with them so they can be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And, you know, one of the key things I wanted to, you know, bring to the Ambitious Vet community, if you're listening on the podcast or if you're live with us or listening to this inside the tribe or watching this in the tribe later, is, you know, Mark Green was quoted in saying recently that I pivoted from being worried more about my own environment and began focusing on being of service to others. Mm-hmm. I want you to kind of, you know, dive into that a little bit more, because I think a lot of us, we do worry about our environments. You know, I know that whenever I was out, you know, first year and a half, 2 years, I was just figuring out how to create solid feet underneath me, you know, get the bills paid, because I didn't serve 24 years. I served for four and out. I was like, high five, Marine Corps. Thank you for 4 years. And then I just tried to figure it out. So what would be your words of encouragement for ambitious vets that are kind of, you know, worried about their circumstances, and how can they pivot that to really focus more on service, the very values that kind of led their performance while they were serving?
You know, I'm going to say something that might rub a few guys wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway, because you know what? That's the kind of guy I am. Part of what I see is that we are built up so much in the military. And what happens is we put this shield and this armor of ego on. And because we put it on, when we transition, we're not ready to take it off. We're like, no, this is my armor. This is who I am. This is my identity. This is my rank. This is my authority. This is my everything. And I realized that when you take that uniform off, now you feel like you're naked. You're like, whoa, I'm a fish out of water. I can't do this anymore. This isn't the same. I'm not getting the same respect I did in the uniform. I'm not getting the same things. And the problem that I saw, and I still sometimes even see it in some of the veteran businesses, is that we're afraid to lose a little bit of our ego to grow. We have to go back and peel that back a little bit and say, you know what, we're not as good as we think we are. We're not as strong as we think we are. We're not as business savvy as we think we are. We're not, you know, you gotta really be honest with yourself first.
Yeah.
And then you gotta know your why. Because if your why just to create a business is just to make money, well, then eventually your business is going to fail.
Yep.
If you're, you know, like, so I decided that when I started doing something that I realized that was not just selling a product, that I'm selling self-help to people, I realized that I have to decide that it's not a business, it's a movement. It's a thinking. It's that's why I call myself the mindset vet. Because if people get the right mindset and get rid of some of that, it's okay to still have some ego. I mean, you know, you're a sports guy, you got to have a little ego. You feel good. You still got to have that feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
But you got to lose a little bit of it around other people. And when you do, that's when you open yourself up to grow, and then do things that you've not done yet. You know, This year we're running the largest ever veteran online summit ever held on resilience and transition online. It's like, who's ever done that? No one, right? So I asked myself, sitting at the desk the other day, it's like, well, how am I going to do this? Well, here's the thing. I'm not always worried about the how, it's the why. If I can create a summit that big with that many experts, maybe what I share is not going to connect with you, but what Chris Hoffman shares with you will. Or maybe it's the guy who teaches health and wellness that's a CW4 that's a friend of mine who's going to teach you how to be more healthy. Or maybe it's the guy that teaches you differently about how to think. Or maybe it's the guy that teaches you how to make more money so you can pay your bills and you're not, sucking wind at the end of the month and you got more month than money. So that's why I've created this community. And I'm like, look, I'm going to do it this way because now I have a community of people that I can flip over every year and do the same thing with different speakers, different authors, different subject matter experts in every one of those areas of resilience. And it's going to become a community. And then that now it is me being of service to others through others. And that's even more powerful.
That's great. I mean, I couldn't even say that any better than what you just said it. And what I love about that the most is one of the biggest things that I'm seeing missing inside the military community that of veterans are actually out there doing stuff out of the uniform is a lack of collaboration. One thing I learned as a sales trainer in the last corporation I was in is, if you're in front of the room saying you got all the answers, at some point, someone's going to realize that you're full of shit. It's just a matter of time. They're going to realize that you have chips in your armor and you can't be afraid to look incompetent. Sometimes when you're the most authentic, when you make the biggest difference with people. And I love the idea of like being able to build a community on being able to provide real value because it only, right? It's like Mark Green doesn't have to do it. You're really bringing in some heavy hitters and big names. I know you're currently still looking for speakers to come into that online summit, right?
Yeah, we're going to. We've got almost half of them already filled, and I only sent out the first email this week, and then we're doing a press release. But yeah, we are looking for others that can fit into those 5 areas. If it's mindset, health and wellness, or if it's financial, or if it's business related, that's going to help the veteran. But what we don't want is we don't want salesy webinars. We want veterans to get value out of their 60 minutes of sharing with other veterans. If they want to put a webinar link or their link to their page on the other side, that's great because there's no charge for the speaker to come in. And we're going to build some bonuses and some stuff in the back office, which I'll share with each one of the speakers. We'll have 60 by the 30th of May, and the event is on the 11th of June. Wow. So I'm working with a HubSpot certified partner. So all the platform and everything will be built out. All of the embedded information and all the videos will be embedded, so you don't have lags and all of that on the social media side. And it'll go for 5 full days. So it's 12 hours a day for 5 days. So there's 60 speakers. So you've got 12 hours of different stuff each day that you can plug into for free as a veteran to just opt in and listen.
Really? And is this going to be archived, pre-recorded? Is it going to be live interaction?
It will be pre-recorded. They'll be pre-recorded because it takes time to put all that in there and get it all prepared.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing with that.
That's amazing, my friend. So, I mean, I love that summit, and that's coming in June. So how can people follow you and help you get more closer around that summit, especially if they want to become a speaker or say it's an ambitious vet that's just getting out of the uniform that really wants to figure out how to build resilience and start becoming more bulletproof confident in the trenches of uniform?
What I'll do is I can give you my email address and spell it out here on the site, or we can do it. You can put it in the comments. Yeah. They can reach me directly through the email. I can send them the first email about what we're doing, and then there's going to be drip emails that are going to be coming from the team, because they're going to be the ones you're going to have to turn the stuff into and get everything on by a certain date. I will be selecting all of the speakers by the 30th of May. So if you get a yes from me, that means that you're in. If you don't get a yes and you wanted to, then we have room for next one. So there won't be just one. We're going to do more than one. So once it's an evergreen it's an evergreen event, so it'll be every year. And we're just going to keep getting better and better and better speakers, and better and better stuff for the veterans every year. So.
No, I love it. I love where your heart is. And, I encourage any ambitious vet that to one, apply to be a speaker. Why not shoot for the stars? But second, if you don't get a yes, just know that it's a no for now. And what I encourage you to at least attend the online summit, get some aha moments that allow you to get the yes later. Sometimes building the relationship and providing value to a project ultimately creates bigger opportunity in the future. So I would definitely encourage that. So
yeah, I'm pretty excited because it isn't just US based people. We've got people from South Africa, people from Canada, people from the UK. We've got people from all over that are going to be coming in as speakers to this event. And they're also going to do some bonuses and some stuff on the back end. We may do an all access pass where if people want to record them and then also want the bonuses, we may do a small access pass fee to help pay for the platform, but that'll be up and coming. But right now, the most important thing is that if you just want to listen, it's free. And that's 5 days, that's 60 hours of free content for any veteran, unless they want to do the all access pass. And I'm really excited because I never thought about doing this. Last year we did the Vet Fest live event and we just got the video from that. The great thing that happened there, it was the Harley Davidson that I pulled the winner for when they won a couple years ago, and it came through the tunnel. When I pulled the winner, it was a guy who had went to West Point many, many years ago, and he just donated the bike back to West Point for good.
Wow.
So it's super cool because that's like history, because that bike was that first year when they won, and that's what the family wanted. They wanted the motorcycle to go back to West Point in perpetuity, and now it's there. So
yeah, no, I love what you're doing. It's coming full circle, brother, and it's taking off very quickly. Just from the matter of when we first met in the last military infiltrator conference till now, I love where you're taking your contribution to our community, brother. It's going to the next level. So before I let you go, I want you to kind of explain to ambitious vets more about My Silver Boots LLC, the company that you've started, and kind of what's the vision of that? Why more of like where all this online summit is, the Vet Fest, all this is coming from.
Sure. So, when I created My Silver Boots, I realized that I wanted something that in my logo that denoted some of my achievement, which is like I have 3 sets of silver wings, right? I have a French foreign jump wings, air assault, and airborne wings. So I thought, well, call it silver because I've always liked the element silver. And then the boots represent my service. That's in the center of the logo. There's 7 stars in my logo. Those 7 stars are the 7 R's, or the 7 vital steps to resilience. And then there's wings, which is the jump wings. And then there's the red, white, and blue over the wings, which is patriotism. So my logo has a lot of meaning to it. And so I internationally trademarked the words consulting services for transitioning from military to civilian life. And then there's an international trademark that's about to be registered. I'm waiting for the Circle R any day now. It took me almost 9.5 months to get that.
Wow.
So once I'm registered, then we create curriculum that's going to help people be more resilient. And we're going to try to get it into the Master Resilience Trainer programs with the Army, or do a contract with them, or we'll do it privately, or I'll find ways to scholarship it through the 501c3. I don't know the status of how we're going to do it yet, because I'm not that worried about the how. I know my why. My why is to reach 500,000 veterans and build resilience in them so they stay in the fight. And that's how I sign all my books, stay in the fight. And so what's next, of course, is the summit, doing another Veterans Live event in Missouri because it was so successful the first year.
Yeah.
And then I'm writing my 4th book.
Wow.
And there was a couple of golden grenades I think you asked about.
Yeah. Before we dive in and start blowing those up, I love it, guys. Just to kind of set the perspective on this, this is a 24-year, lieutenant colonel who served in the Army, saying that he's still up to this stuff out of the uniform. So guys, just because you finish your service doesn't mean you're done serving the world. So guys, let this story inspire you. So now, the moment that everyone looks forward to inside of the show, Mark Green, what is your 3 golden grenades that you would like to provide ambitious vets that would allow them to take immediate action towards becoming more out of the uniform or creating more impact out of the uniform where they're at?
You know, there's a piece of me that says, look, there's certainty and then there's uncertainty. And you got to be certain. You got to get rid, it's kind of like assumptions, right? We got to get rid of all the assumptions. Well, are you a network marketer? Yes. Are you an author? Yes. Are you a speaker? Yes. Are you getting ready to do a film on Monday? Yes, I am. And so, you know, like when somebody say, well, who are you and what do you do? I do a lot of things, but I do a lot of those things because I realized that I decided what I want. And that's the first golden grenade, is that you have to decide what you want. You got to plan for it. You got to fund it. You got to vision map it. And, you know, the thing is, what I've learned is the people that won't step out, they will regret it later. If they're going to sit idle and complain and criticize everybody else for everything that they're doing out there in the community, all they're doing is they're making themselves look like a complete fool. It's like, that's fine. If you don't want to do anything, then don't go fishing. That's fine. If that's that's your life, but don't criticize the ones that are out there trying to make it happen. You know, that's the one thing in the community that I despise. It's like, well, if you don't like network marketing, then don't be a network marketer. You know, if you don't like reading books, then don't read a book. You know, just be who you are and be okay with it. And that would be the first thing. And the second thing is, don't give up the first sign of defeat. You know, we're going to get knocked down. I mean, if you read my book, you're like, holy shit, that guy got knocked down a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get knocked down. But the thing is, if you're persistent in what you're doing and you do it over and over and over, I look at the marked improvement of you, Chris, just over time of what you've started to where you are. And I'm like, wow, this guy's doing great. Look how far he's come. Right. Mm-hmm. And so if you look back a year ago from where we were, both of us, to where we are today, are a lot of the veterans that are in the community that are trying to make things happen, we're way better off than we were a year ago or 2 years ago. Yeah. And so I say, be persistent and don't be afraid to listen to others that already know or have already done it. You know, don't have so much ego that's like, well, I already know it. I already got it. No, I don't need you. Sometimes we do need our brothers and sisters to help us. It's like, hey, I just need an ear, man, for a minute, you know? And so, and I say leaders lead, you know, if you want to succeed, but not everybody wants to succeed and not everybody wants you to succeed. Mm-hmm. So if you feel that, there's a reason for that. There might be some jealousy. There might be something going on behind the scenes and they're just not feeling like they're up to speed. It's okay. You know, that's why I say don't give up the first sign of defeat when you don't think you've gotten there yet, either financially or in your business or whatever. Time will get you there. And if you're persistent and you have goals and you follow them, eventually things fall into place. And then it's just like this exponential climb to the race, you know, to the top. So, and then the third nugget I would say is, if you're in the veteran community, network like crazy. Get out there, and it doesn't have to be veterans. A lot of the people I network with are not veterans. They're business owners. They're millionaires. I mean, I got a call from a PGA guy the other day. He says, "Let me come out to the course. I want to show you how to grip the ball and bend in the right way so you can hit the ball farther." One practice, and I was hitting the ball so much smoother. Just one practice, and you know, so it's just things like that. You know, network like crazy with people who do what you do, and build that community around you. Because they're always going to be there. And it's amazing how I got so many yeses already for this summit, only because I built bridges. I built bridges with people and I don't burn them, right? Mm-hmm. I don't go talking about the other guy behind his back and make him feel, you know, like he's like, tell somebody else that they're not worthy. Yeah. I don't have time for that. I stay focused on what my mission is in creating a movement for resilience and transition for veterans. And I'm getting really good feedback from the community for that. And it's a hard business because self-help is not an easy sell. And so a lot of people won't jump in. They'd rather, you know, a lot of people have products and things like that they sell, and that's great. And they're making a lot of money and they're doing great. But this is different for me because this is internal. and it's something that's driving me from inside. And it's really good to have that feeling. But yeah, I mean, that's the third thing that I would share with any of those out there. Decide what you want, don't give up, and network like crazy. There they are.
Huge, huge. I love the whole burning desire inside. I mean, that's the core of why the Ambitious Vet Tribe and this whole movement started, is desiring more deep down inside. And you just can't describe it, but it's just like, I'm not satisfied. I want to make a bigger impact. So thank you for really articulating that in a way that can speak to the tribe so articulately. It was amazing. So, Mark Green, where can Ambitious Vets go to find you? What's your website? How can they email you? How can they contact you if they wanted to do it right now?
Sure. Right now, we're in the process of redoing the full website, and it's probably going to be launched in about 2 weeks. So there will be a button for that summit on that new website. That website, it's still going to be the same URL, which is www.mark.green. No .com, just mark.green. So that's how they can find me on the web. And then my email address right now is stepup7@gmail.com.
Awesome. So I'll post all those links in the comments below, guys. So look out for those. Mark, man, I just want to look over at you, man, and just thank you for being you, man, for the community. I mean, it'd be easy to serve as long as you have and just sit back, be comfortable, raise your kids, be there for your family, which a lot of veterans do, which is nothing wrong with that. And just take care of your family, go back and give and serve them. And like, you haven't decided to do that. You've decided to do all the above. And you're always seeking to challenge yourself, impact on a bigger level. And for that, brother, I think I speak for all the tribe that you inspire the hell out of us. So thank you for being you.
Awesome. You guys all inspire me too. And others that would like to come on the veteranconnections.us podcast and would like to be interviewed by me, I also have a podcast there, and they can sign up right off the page. Very easy to find, and we're always looking for new interviews. And so we're at about 12 to 15 interviews already signed up and already taken. So we're getting ready to launch those first ones that I've done pretty soon. And then, I'm busy, but I'm busy and I love what I do. So thank you so much for having me on, Chris. I really do appreciate it. And I hope I get to work with a lot of great other veterans that hear this or get to know me through the Facebook Live or by reaching out to me.
Yeah. So. And Ambitious Vets, Mark Green, as you can tell, has a heart of gold, has dealt with a tremendous amount of adversity in his life. And there's a reason why resilience is inside of the core of his heart. So I definitely encourage you guys to reach out, connect with him, see if he could be your next mentor, or maybe he's just someone you can collaborate with on your next project, or maybe you're someone that dives into that summit and provides a shit ton of value to our community. Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vet, episode number 44, The Ambitious Vet with Mark Green. So, guys, I want to go ahead and share a golden grenade. I don't do this every episode, but this one, as you know, this whole movement is about becoming more than what you are so you can have more of what you have. And I don't mean that in superficiality, right? Like tangible items. I'm talking about more happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. Sometimes it's the most intangibles that you can grab that will attain the biggest tangibles later on. And I think if we kind of shifted that paradigm as a veteran community, I think that we would be able to really come together more collaborative and not live and survive life out of the uniform, but more, thrive in it. So the biggest golden grenade that I got was when he started sharing about the moment he pivoted from worrying and concern around his everyday circumstances, and pivoted towards serving others. That's when his life started changing. Guys, I want you to understand that, like, to even have that awareness, to understand that you're worried and concerned, takes a lot of investment in yourself. Journaling, books, courses, programs, coaches, mentors, to even ask you the questions that have you figure that out. I guarantee you, if I asked Mark Green that question, he would admit that he didn't come up with that with himself. It was someone that had some kind of question or thought-provoking comment that had him gain a new aha moment that, oh, wow, this is why I'm worried and concerned. So guys, I want you guys this week to really look honestly in every area of your life, assess it, rate it even, 1 out of 10. Where do you rate that area? And figure out, hey, are you really living out there with people, or are you so worried about what's going on inside of yourself? Because guys, if I can tell you one word of encouragement, maybe this is just another golden grenade for you from this episode, is once you start, being committed and intentionally giving people in your life, in your networks, in your communities, what you're worried about, that's when you'll never have to worry about that thing anymore. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, review the podcast. Feedback is what allows anything to improve in life, and we want to improve in the trenches right beside you guys. So meet us in the middle and let's get better together. Sound good? Lastly, guys, we already know that you that are listening to this is warrior made. But to become passion driven, utilize just one golden grenade you heard today, and you will find your life being more impactful, meaningful, and fulfilling. Guys, let's go